this week, President Biden announced that the EPA is going to lift the restriction on the ethanol content in our gasoline in an effort to ease gas prices. That happened 2 days ago. And it's supposed to go from a maximum ethanol content of 10% to 15% starting June 1st. And it is said that this is going to ease gas prices by, on average, 10 cents a gallon. So we'll see. I think this is in part politically motivated because between high inflation and high gas prices, his poll numbers and Democrat poll numbers aren't looking terribly good right now in general. But the problem is also being fueled by the fact that due to the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, the U.S. has an oil embargo against Russia. So that is helping drive up the prices, and Putin's not showing any sign of pulling out. But it's relevant in the environmental world because environmentalists are charging that the E15, the gasoline with a higher ethanol content, is going to increase greenhouse gas emissions and increase smog, obviously, which during the summer months is going to be very problematic, particularly for folks who have asthma or respiratory conditions. It's definitely going to, they say, damage air quality. The Biden administration, on the other hand, is staying very confident that this will not have little effect, if any, on environment or the air quality. So that's the controversy that's going on. It's just interesting to see how it plays out, because it's interesting how if what the environmentalists claim is true, then politics are being played with air quality and people's health, right? In an effort to save a few pennies at the gas pump on a temporary basis, because it's only during the summer months. So what's your impression about all this?
Well, I was wondering if it was performative politics, right? Because the highest gas prices, well, what's the benefit to California, right? As far as gas price relief. And then I saw that the states that it would actually probably impact the most are Texas and some Midwestern states. I thought I saw North Carolina in there. I need to check and make sure. So
Iowa, for example, because they produce a lot of ethanol in Iowa.
Corn.
That's right.
So the so the feedstock would, that market would boom. Where is corn grown? Midwestern states, Indiana, Iowa, all that little Mississippi or Missouri River corridor. But California doesn't look like it will benefit too much from this. So,
well, I mean, right now, I checked with the place where I usually fill up on the way in this morning, and I've been paying $5.45 a gallon, which may be a lifetime high. I've never seen gas prices high. So, in terms of my pocketbook, I think I'm no different than anybody else. I'm going to welcome the relief, but again, it's temporary. And I don't like the effect, since I'm somebody with respiratory difficulties as well. I don't really like the idea that my health is going to suffer for that, little bit of financial alleviation, which is, again, temporary.
Right. And the issue, can you explain the issue of why a biofuel stock like ethanol 15 would create more emissions?
It's got, it's made from corn. So the charge is that the more ethanol content in gasoline, the more the emissions are going to contribute to things like smog.
Right.
It's contributing to things
because
like
it burns
smog.
Quickly.
Right. It burns quickly. It's leaving more hydrocarbons in the air. It's, obviously getting into our lungs. and it's an issue because of the time frame during which this embargo on the higher ethanol content gasoline, the E15, is going to be in place. It's during the summer months. And the environmentalists are saying that there's scientific evidence that in the warmer months, increased smog is a problem, obviously, because it tends to linger. Yes. Hot air doesn't move as readily as cooler air. And so it's going to linger in the air. And that's the problem. So despite the charges that the environmentalists are making, the Biden administration, the EPA are saying, no, there's nothing to worry about. But we'll see. I mean, it does really look like it's a case of they're playing politics. And unfortunately, it's something that's damaging our health. I mean, who knows how long this war in the Ukraine is going to last. Putin doesn't show any signs of backing down, despite the fact that the invasion is clearly bogged down for a variety of reasons that I won't go into. But it doesn't look like there's any end in sight anytime soon, is the bottom line.
Right. And the emissions from the biofuel, the bioethanol, because that's specifically what what the president is aiming for, not just injecting ethanol from another fossil fuel, but ethanol from a bio feedstock like corn. But the other emissions from that come from the transportation of the corn to the place where it will be processed, and then getting that downstream to the pipeline. So there's also increased emissions there. If you look at the entire life cycle of the fuel, not just from the refinery to your gas pump, but from the stock to the refinery to your gas pump, and that cycle increases emissions. So yeah.
And ethanol is known to be highly flammable. Therefore, gasoline with higher ethanol content is going to be that much more flammable. And there was a scare a few years ago here in California about people being outraged about trains packed with fuel carrying ethanol. They didn't want it rolling through their communities after a high-profile, unfortunate incident in Canada in which a train that was loaded with gas that was rich in ethanol exploded, caused a major fire, did significant damage to a town in Canada. So the irony is one of the things that the president said in announcing this lifting of this restriction on the E15 is that he's trying to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. So on its face, you would think it would be good for the environment. The problem is ethanol in particular is something that, as we mentioned, the production of it has environmental consequences, and the transport of it raises safety concerns.
Right. And I was also wondering, with this raised corn prices, since now corn is going to be used as a biofuel. And I just know a little bit about the corn industry, and I know that corn is grown for different types of end uses, right? So you have corn made for corn syrup and corn made for, cereals and tortilla shells, and corn made for animal feed. For dog food, for animal feed, and then the corn made for that. But will that increase the price of corn, since now the spotlight is on the market to produce to meet the needs of this E15 fuel that'll be distributed through all the states?
Absolutely. And the economists are saying there's no question that it's going to increase the price of corn, because there's only so much corn that's being produced. If a significant amount of it is now being tapped for increased ethanol production, there's that much less that's going to be available for these other domestic, food uses, and that will inevitably drive the price up.
Right. So that's your cereal, right? Anything with corn syrup, and pretty much anything liquid has some corn syrup in it.
A lot of packaged food products,
packaged foods,
soft drinks, dog food,
soft drinks,
animal animal feed, as you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
So we'll pay for it someplace else.
Oh, there's no question.
In the economy.
To help
so that 10 cents of gas it saves, raises
to help the party in power at the midterm elections. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So then, I think this is another. I'm sure the efforts were pure, but you're right. We're also looking at a president who's struggling in his numbers, a midterm election that it looks very precarious for the Democrats, and he needs a win. He needs a win, like the Ketanji Brown Jackson win. Right? Wasn't didn't last that long. He needs another win, and so will this be a win? Will people suddenly feel great about everything because they think this gas is available? But right now, just looking on some gas buddy just to find where it's called E85 gas. That's the market term for it. It's not readily available in a lot of places.
Oh, that's a good point. So is there a resource where folks can go to find out where this higher content gasoline is available?
Yes. So Gas Buddy, which, you could use to find gas and find real-time gas prices. You could look up by fuel type, and I looked up E85. Also, there's looks like a biofuel trade association website called Get Biofuel, where you can also find biofuel locations. It looks like where I am in the Bay Area, some of them are private, right? They're probably used for fleet cars of some sort, city buses.
What's that website again?
Trucks.
Is it getbiofuel.com?
Biofuel.com, right? Yeah. So like one of the places it shows is the Lawrence Berkeley Livermore Lab. I
don't think the average person is going to get access. Somehow.
You can't really drive
I don't think
up to
so.
Lawrence Berkeley and be like, I get that E85.
No, they have armed guards at the gate.
Not happening, right?
No.
But seeing where it is, it's very few and far between.
Right.
And where it's not in West Oakland. It's not.
So there may be a problem
with the 880 corridor
availability
around East Oakland.
Yeah, there may be a problem for availability for certain communities in California.
Right. Yeah. So not only will we, looking at the health benefits, the health consequences of the increased production of this ethanol gas, and those health effects are seen years down the line.
Right.
But you don't see the where you go to get it. Right. I don't know if you've been to a Costco gas station lately, but the lines are wrapped around.
Oh, that's why I hardly ever go
20,
there.
30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My time is more valuable to me than the money.
Right. Yeah. You have to have, give yourself 30 minutes to get that gas.
Unless you get there when they open. And then sometimes there's a line for that.
I've been there when you open. There's still a line.
There's still a line.
Thinking I was like, oh, I'm going to get there really early. Oh, people were already waiting for it to open for the line. So
you can't win.
It's like, well, who does this benefit? Who is benefiting from this? And right now, I'm not seeing that environmentally impacted communities will get the direct benefit from this move, which I'm concerned about because that's who we care about.
Exactly. And, I did a little research. The only times this has happened in the past are there have been seasonal lifting of this restriction in the past. For example, in the wake of Hurricane Harvey in 2017.
Yeah.
During the Trump administration, they tried to repeal the restriction on E15 high ethanol content gasoline altogether. But that was blocked by a federal court that said at Trump's direction, the EPA had overstepped its authority. So that was rolled back. Like, no, you can't just sell it year round indefinitely. So we'll see. But it's kind of a mixed bag. It seems like it's politically motivated. There's a question about how available it's going to be in the communities that we're concerned about at the Environmental Justice League, and that even if it were available, there's some negative health impacts long term.
Right.
So, my goodness.
Right. Yeah.
I wish there was better news this week.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Do we have good news?
We will.
I don't have it.
In the future.
We will. But right now,
we're just reporting.
Do you think this could be challenged in court by any environmental groups or any other groups?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Possibly the Sierra Club or the National Resources Defense Council. Although, they've got multiple campaigns going, obviously, at any given time. So they're going to pick their battles. I don't know if they're going to, because this is a seasonal easing of the restriction on the ethanol-based gasoline, they may or may not think it's worth picking a fight. And the fact that, it may be primarily impactful in the Midwestern and Southern states versus nationwide. We'll have to wait and see. There is a question, as you've just explained, about how available this new gasoline is going to be in California. So I'm sure that's going to go into their assessment of whether they mount a legal challenge.
Right. Because from what I understand, that gasoline, like when you go to a pump and you have, 88, 89, 91, regular plus and then supreme or premium gas. The E85 is usually at another pump. So the gas stations keep it separate because it can't just come through the pipeline with, the E10 gasoline.
I see. So it's like diesel then.
Yeah.
So there's usually type of fuel.
It's green. It's a different type of fuel.
Right.
So will this be available at gas stations? Is the infrastructure there to deliver this gasoline that's supposed to be cheaper quickly? And if, will this go to the regular pump stations, or will it go to just these biofuel stations that you see scattered? I see them because, right, I live in Oakland, I live in the Bay Area. People have these co-ops, I've mentioned this before, where, they could bring in feedstock and, make gasoline out of French fries or, food scraps. And, their car smells like, right. McDonald's sometimes. Yeah. But will that be available in all gas stations? Especially probably where gas is more expensive. And in Oakland, we know that places in the flatlands have much more expensive gas than in more affluent areas. So once again, who is this benefiting? I'll say this, who does it not benefit?
There we go.
Who may receive a negative impact from this rather than what it was packaged as doing, as providing some relief to inflated gas prices.
Right. Versus the reality once it's implemented.
Right. Exactly. But I don't know, maybe if it provides some relief to, in the Midwest and Texas states, maybe that provides some relief downstream to, us Californians who are paying $6 something. I think my gas was $6.15, $6.17 a gallon, and the pump stopped at $100, and my tank was not full.
Oh my God!
But gas pumps can't give you more than $100 a gallon.
Interesting.
Wow. Right? Yeah. So this is another dilemma. Who was at the table making these decisions?
Yeah.
And what data did they have to show what the impact would be? Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it'll be interesting to see if we can find out from the American Petroleum Association whether this 10 cents a gallon price relief is going to be real.
Right.
I'll try to get that information.
Yeah.
Little follow-up report.
Well, inquiring minds want to know, so keep us updated, Tim.
Absolutely.
Let us know what's going on.
Certainly. Well, that's all we have for this morning. Thank you once again for the joining us. Been an interesting conversation today. We'll see how what effect this has on driving and summer travel. Right.
That's I also thought that for summer travel, you have more cars on the road anyway.
Exactly.
You do more road trips. So yeah, this will be really interesting. We'll have to revisit this, in a few months to see, did it make a difference?
Exactly. Yes.
Right. So yeah, we'll see. And then what the emissions were. So sometimes the estimates are packaged in a way to be very optimistic.
Yes.
In my experience with
give you some false hope.
Government regulations. You got to sell it. You still got to sell it.
Right.
So, well, we'll see. We'll see, folks. Well, thank you. I see our capes still haven't come in. So
no, I'm still working on that.
Maybe next time we'll get our capes.
We're arguing over the color.
Oh, green.
Green. I'm holding out for blue personally, but
Oh, okay.
Green would be.
All right, we're both wearing blue today. We didn't even.
That's right.
I don't know
see?
if you can see me. I'm wearing a blue shirt.
It would be in keeping with our wardrobe.
We didn't even plan this.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're here, Tim. We're here. It was great talking to you.
All right, great. Well, thanks again.
As always.